it's Miss Gella, and we are continuing reading the book brought to you by the game Dreamscape, Spider Bots Rising. This is chapter 22, Light and Light. At last, the storm was beginning to clear. The four of them stepped out of the cave. It felt like they had been in there for a very long time. It felt like they were starting again, somehow brand new. The clouds were retreating to the unseen edges of the wide open sky. The rain had dried up and blown away. The only reminders that had ever been there were the puddles left on the ground, and the puddles shine bright and clear like mirrors among the rock. The dream seeker looked down the length of the vast canyon. The tall reddish cliffs rose high above her on either side. The path of the old river that had flowed through here long ago twisted and turned a little, but mostly their way was straight. In the distance, the dream seeker saw the pulsing green light of the orb, the net, the dark web. She turned to face the others. "It's time," she said. "Ready?" Chuck adjusted his eye patch and nodded once, gravely. His ears bobbed up and down. "You bet," said Abby. She added a bleep and a blip for good measure. Nigel did a funny little spin in the air, then dipped into a low bow. "'Tis my gracious honor to follow thee into battle." Chuck rolled his eyes. The dream seeker smiled. "Let's go." They set out along the wide canyon floor towards the orb. They didn't speak much, and they kept their eyes open. The canyon looked to be empty, but they couldn't be sure. Our wreck seemed to have come out of nowhere. There may be other surprises waiting for them. The dream seeker walked with the compass in her fist at her side. It was giving off a steady, gentle warmth. It felt different from the other times when it had burned and sizzled against her body. Now it felt almost like it was a part of her body itself. The smooth weight of it cradled in her hand had a calming effect. The glowing orb grew larger and larger on the horizon before them. They passed under the jutting rock on the cliff where they had hidden. It already felt so long ago, the dream seeker thought as they passed underneath. Then finally, they stepped right up to the orb's edge. A furious, dry, crackling sound surrounded it, and along with this crackling, there was a low, droning electric hum. All four of them had to squint their eyes against its brightness. The size of it was breathtaking. Patterns of light rippled constantly across its gigantic domed surface. The word "obey" flashed high above their heads in letters 10 feet tall. "Come on," the dream seeker called to the others. She held the compass out in front of her in her open palm. It lay still as though waiting for something. Nigel floated over and touched the compass with the tip of his fin. Chuck came up on the dream seeker's other side and put a matted brown finger on it. Abby crawled around the other side and lifted one spiny leg up until its tip rested against the compass. "Okay," the dream seeker said. "Now we all just have to focus and believe." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly but surely, the compass began to glow. A soft blue light was seeping out of it. The light then stretched out beyond the compass until it flowed over the dream seeker's arms. It climbed up Nigel's fin. It wrapped around Chuck's finger. It spread itself over Abby's leg. Eventually, each one of them was completely cloaked in blue light like a second skin. They looked at each other in amazement. As the four of them stood in that ring, the light from the orb seemed to dim a little. They didn't have to squint at it anymore. The light they were giving off burned brighter than the web. For a moment, the blue outshone the green. Then, with a nod from the dream seeker, they stepped forward together into the orb. And that is the end of our exciting chapter. Oh my goodness. I can't believe we are so close to finishing this book. It has just been getting better and better. And since we have read so much of the book so far, as you can tell throughout the book, there are always problems that arise, but there are also solutions that the dream seeker and her team have come up with as well. My challenge for you is to go back and think about some problems and solutions. Now, a story can have one big problem, right? And one big solution, but sometimes there are also problems and solutions throughout. I want you to create a chart and map out all the problems you can find in the story and try to look for text evidence as well. And look for the solutions that go along with those problems. So that is my challenge for you. I hope you are enjoying this book as much as I am. Can't wait to read the next chapter. Thank you for reading along, and I will see you next time.